Hey, how's it going, grunts? It is me, Ovi, and welcome to the very first episode of Pokecast. And I'm sure a lot of you are probably asking, what the heck is this? What is Pokecast? You've never seen this before. Well, let me just give you a quick basic rundown of what this show is going to be about. I'm going to be your host, and I'm going to be interviewing pretty much Poketubers, and they're going to be giving you advice, and we're going to be talking about different topics in regards to Pokemon. So make sure to write down notes because I'm going to be asking some questions in regards to how to run your YouTube channel if you guys want to start your own Pokemon channel. And we're going to be discussing many different topics that I know a lot of us struggle with, and things that we're going to be doing right, that we do right, things that we do wrong, any mistakes that we made, how do we fix them, and so on and so forth. So what better way to start the first episode with bringing you one of my closest friend. You guys know him as Pokemon Insider.
What's up, insiders? Pokemon Insider here.
Yeah, that's right. So we have Pokemon Insider. His real name is Scott. He has over 30,000 subscribers, and he's only 19 years old. He's a big fan of SpongeBob and basketball, but of course his bigger passion would be Pokemon. Is that all right, Scott? Is that a quick?
Yeah, that's all.
Did I do a good research?
Yeah.
Well, I've known Scott for a long
time.
I think I've known you since you had like 300 subscribers.
I think it was more like 200.
Yeah.
I think you were at like barely 100.
I know.
Oh my goodness, that
Yeah.
was so crazy.
And we've been stuck together
To
since
look
then.
at YouTube and then see such a huge number after so long, I have no words for it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing
Yeah.
feeling. What am I saying?
Yeah, it is.
All right, guys. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to have three sections. I'm going to be asking first a couple of questions in regard to his channel. Then we're going to move on to two topics that I want to talk about with him. And the last section, we're going to talk about tips that Scott can give to you guys if you want to start your YouTube channel. Of course, I'm going to start with the very first question. Scott, I want to ask you, what inspired you to start your YouTube channel?
Okay, so this is probably not a long story, but it may turn into one, so I just want to give a disclaimer. So back, I think around in 2011 is when I started watching Pokemon on YouTube, and it started with J-Wits and Pokemon TCG videos, and as he changed his style and started branching out to other things, I was introduced to people like Tamashi and Munching Orange, and initially I wanted to start Let's Playing like Munching Orange, and I was like, okay, this is getting me nowhere. I was getting maybe like 2 views a video, and they were probably both mine, and I think this was around the summer 2013, so I was like, this is getting me nowhere. I'm just gonna, and at that same time, I had just gotten a job in high school, so I had no time to do videos, or at least I didn't think I had time. So I just stopped for a while, and I probably only did Let's Plays for about a month, and then I think it was December 2013, I decided, you know what? I'm going to take this YouTube thing seriously and try to do this right, because I really enjoy making these videos, but I haven't taken it seriously enough. And so that was when I decided, you know what, my name is going to be Pokemon Insider. I'm going to do top 10s and informational videos about Pokemon, which at the time I knew literally everything about Pokemon. Now there's so much information, and there's so much more that I need to learn about, because at the time I thought I knew everything. Of course I didn't, and I still don't.
Yeah.
But I thought I knew everything, and I wanted to share that information, and that's what the channel is, me sharing my experiences and the information that I have about Pokemon. And, you know, as the channel changed, it has really grown and evolved into something completely different when I started doing theories, when I met Ovi and Team Eclipse.
Team Eclipse and the whole gang.
Really, it's all changed and gotten so much better after that. And I it really all comes back to me finding Jaywitz on YouTube.
Yeah, I know the Let's Player side, it's a different side of the community that we're on, and I'm definitely going to bring some Let's Players to the show so they can share their experience. If you guys want to start an LP channel, probably I'm going to try my best to bring Ace Trainer Liam because I think he's one of the most successful Let's Players at the moment right now. Uh, when it comes to upcoming Let's Players, because I know there's a lot of them that are up there already with over 200,000
Yep.
subscribers. But
Already established.
yeah, already established. But I want to bring people in here that are just moving up and are making it. But of course, your channel is mostly based on theories, on top fives, most of the trivial stuff. So this is what we're going to be focusing on today. But the next question I wanted to ask you, Scott, is why Pokemon and why not anything else? If you're a big fan of SpongeBob like I am, and basketball and other stuff, but what
Yeah.
really pushed you to Pokemon, and not just say, you know what, I'm just gonna have a gaming channel in general?
Right. Well, Pokemon is it's been a part of my life as long as I can remember. I know I got my first Pokemon game when I was 5 years old. Like on my 5th birthday, that's when I got Pokemon Silver, and I think I also got Red on the same day, but Silver is what I remember the most. And throughout most of my childhood, it wasn't just me playing Pokemon. I had a lot of friends who played it, and my brothers played it with me, my cousins played it. So I always had someone to play with me until I started actually getting really serious with it and just becoming a hardcore fan, which was around 2010, 2011. It was pretty much when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out was when I got really serious about it.
Wow.
And
One of the best games. I didn't mean to cut you over there, but I think Soul Silver, the best Pokemon
oh
game
yeah,
ever.
yeah, without a doubt, my favorite.
Right.
But yeah, what happened was, yeah, people stopped playing as I got older, because in 2010, I think I was 14. So, as high school and all that, people stopped playing because, they're like, oh, Pokemon's a kid's game. So the people that were my age were stopping playing Pokemon. I think the only one that was still playing was my cousin, and all we did was battle with the same teams over and over again. So we ended up developing a meta between like our teams of 6 Pokemon.
You're making me feel a lot more older now. You're like, I was like 14. I'm like 28 now. I'm still playing Pokemon.
Well, this was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I didn't really have anyone to play with, so a main thing I wanted to do was find other people who enjoyed Pokemon, because I knew they were out there.
Right.
They just weren't where I was, and that's why I ended up starting making videos on it. Was I loved it so much.
Through the internets, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was, okay, where can I find other people who enjoy this as much as I do in the way that I enjoy it? So I just decided to make a couple videos about it.
That's great. That's a great way, and I think it has helped a lot because we have met lots of people that enjoy
yeah.
the same that we do, no?
Yeah, and now we've got these groups of people all across the world, and we play Pokemon together. We'll play some FFAs or just Wi-Fi battle, showdown, trade, just talk about Pokemon, whatever the case may be, even make videos together.
Right.
It's an incredible feeling to know that there are so many people out there who enjoy the same thing that you enjoy.
Definitely. Of course, now you guys know a little bit more about Pokemon Insider. Those were just a couple of questions in relation to his channel. But I want to move on to the next segment because I'm not trying to this to drag for too long.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about 2 topics, Scott, that I think you feel strongly about.
Yeah.
And the first one that I want to cover is in light of the whole announcement of Pokemon Sun and Moon. Right, there's a big commotion. A lot of people are looking into it. They, they want to find out more and everything. So the topic that I want to cover is clickbait.
Yeah.
I know it's a little bit controversial and everything, but my question to you: is there such a thing as good clickbait, or is it all bad clickbait? How do you feel about it?
Well, I think all videos on YouTube in essence are clickbait in theory, because the purpose of making a video and uploading it to YouTube is so that people will watch it. And you're trying to get people to click on it, whether by giving it an interesting title, thumbnail, whatever the case may be. The ultimate goal of a YouTube video is to get people to watch it.
So you do
And
feel that there is a good clickbait?
yes, there is definitely good clickbait, and there's also bad clickbait, which I don't really put on. I rarely use the term clickbait because I think it's such a general term, and all YouTube videos fall under that category. And when you say bad clickbait, I use the term misleading content.
Okay.
Because that's what I think the only real form of bad clickbait is okay, do either the title or the thumbnail reflect what's in the video, and if neither of them contain the information that's going to be in the video, then it's misleading, and that's bad clickbait. For example, if you made a video called something like OMG, full sun and moon Pokedex leaked, question mark, exclamation point, one exclamation point. That's obviously misleading because there definitely hasn't been the full Pokedex leaked, and you know that, and you're just using that because people, if they see that, they're going to think, holy crap, was there a big leak? I have to see this. And you knowing that there isn't, yet still putting out content promoting that it is without a doubt misleading, and that's disappointing.
So let me ask you this. Would you consider YouTube to be a business?
It depends on the person. I consider it a business.
All right,
because there is money involved with YouTube.
All right, so in that case, at what point do you bring morality in? Because if you look at it from a business standpoint, if you put a title that way, it generates reviews, which would eventually turn into ad revenue. So somebody that has this business mind or whatever will look at it, it's like, what are you talking about? This is getting me the views.
And for them, it's like, it's all about the numbers. And for that, I do somewhat let my own moral guidelines get involved where I see that as misleading and I think that's like morally wrong. But then I also try to go back to the YouTube community guidelines, which is a big thing, and misleading content is strictly against the YouTube community guidelines, and I think it's really sad that it's being broken so blatantly and so often. So
Right.
To me, it's against YouTube community guidelines. Yes, I think it's morally wrong as well, but if it wasn't against the YouTube community guidelines, my moral views would mean nothing.
Right. Well, there you have it, guys. That is Scott's views on clickbait. Make sure to comment, in the section below. What do you guys think about clickbait? Is it good? Is it bad? If you see that is something that could definitely bring down our community, or we're just gonna get over it.
Yeah, and honestly, if it doesn't affect me, I'm not gonna go out of my way to like go bash it or do anything against it, because it really doesn't affect me in the long run. If someone's making these misleading videos, it's all the power to them. Like, go for it. Just know that I'm not going to support it, and I'm not going to. Yeah, that's about it. I'm not going to support it, and I'm not going to do it. So,
all right.
Yeah, but go for it if you want to
do it, right?
If you want to tell your viewers something that's false, go for it. And there's another thing where,
right.
I think comedy comes involved, because I've definitely done videos where the
Miracle
title
the Miracle.
of the video is something completely false. For example, I've done several joke videos, but the one that I did recently was for April Fool's Day. I did a video called Pokemon Theory. Pokemon are real? ?
Right.
And obviously, if you look at the date, it's April 1st, and you watch the video, you can tell that it's a joke. So when that comes into play, you have to realize, okay, are these people being serious or not?
Right.
So that's a big thing. So
that's parody. All right, so the next topic I want to cover, Scott, and I know it's more of a personal, sensitive topic that a lot of YouTubers, as you guys get bigger, some of you guys might have really small channels, you might not have experienced this yet, and some of you guys might have bigger channels, big enough channels where you see this. And this is something that I call analytics sickness. This is when people get focused on their analytics and they're always looking at it, constantly looking at the amount of views, likes, everything they get on a daily basis, just just staring at it, and as they see it going down or up or whatever, it messes with their moods and they become depressed, very depressed about it.
Yeah.
And it comes to a point that I think is like doing more harm than good for you to be looking to your analytics. What do you think about this, Scott?
I've had a lot of experience with this where my channel in particular has had a lot of ups and downs. I know some, usually they'll go mostly up for a long time before they have any down periods. But since I've been on YouTube for for over 2.5 years, I've experienced these ups and downs more than enough times to know what it's about. And a lot of people, they're just not prepared for that. And I definitely haven't been prepared for it. I think I've had these down slumps at least twice. And all you can do is just persevere and wait out until you get your next big video, because especially in the types of videos we make,
Right.
it's basically hit or miss. You're gonna have your loyal subscribers and viewers who are gonna watch all your videos. Usually that's not 100% of your subscribers, but you can count on them to give you a solid amount. But to get yourself to grow, you need to reach your more people than just the people who are going to continue watching.
So what do you
every
think?
time.
So what would you think would be a healthy, amount of times that you should be looking at your analytics?
I don't have a problem with checking it once a day. I think that's probably the best, because you do want to track your channel pretty actively to make sure, okay, so this happened on this day, why did that happen, what can I do to either keep this up period going, or what can I do to get out of this down period, or whatever the case may be. So checking it daily is probably the best thing.
Do you feel
But
that is it a real problem? Do you feel like there's people out there that are extremely depressed, about their analytics? Because
I
at
do
one
think
point,
that there are people, like I've experienced this myself, talking with he definitely gets pretty down about that, if his videos aren't doing as well as they did before. And I don't know if he doesn't want me to
Right.
reveal that, but you can cut that out if you want.
Yeah.
I know there are people who it does affect them on a psychological level, and it is something that needs to be understood, but I don't think that it is a major problem where you should be completely devastated over it, because really all that it is showing that YouTube is all ups and downs, and you can't really necessarily count on a consistent amount of views unless you are consistently putting out content that people are going to want to watch.
Right.
And it all comes down to the people watching. So
Right.
of course, once you've built yourself a large enough, like a substantial enough viewer base that you're pulling in for every video you make, you're getting enough views that you think you can support yourself, then you don't necessarily have much to worry about. But you also have to keep in mind that at any point it could start going down.
Yeah,
And
so I guess the
definitely
most
put a
important thing
stop
you
on
would tell our viewers would be to be mentally prepared for the
Yeah,
good moment.
be mentally prepared for if you've done nothing but go up your whole YouTube career. Be prepared, because it's going to happen where you'll have a month where your numbers are going to be below the month before, and you're going to wonder, what did I do wrong? And honestly, sometimes there's nothing you did wrong. It's just that people aren't as interested in what you're doing just for no reason. And that's happened to me many times, where I look at the videos that I've made I'm like, okay, these are like not much different than the ones that I've done before. Why are they not doing as well? And you just got to play it up to chance, because that is a huge part of it.
All right, so I know that's a little bit more of a sensitive topic, and we're going to be hearing this not just from Scott. Once I bring other people as well, I'm going to be asking them some of the same questions too, to see how they deal with it. If maybe they have other tips for you guys. But of course, I'm going to try to bring smaller and bigger names. If you could see in the bottom of the screen, the next person that I want to bring in is going to be Birdkeeper Toby, who has a channel with over 70,000 subscribers. So he's going to have insight for us as well. But of course, we're going to move on to the next section of the interview, which is going to be the tips. We're going to be sharing some tips to the viewers. And Scott, I want to be asking you probably like 4 more questions, and we're going to get this over. We're going to get this over with, because I know we've been going for over 20 minutes, but I really hope that people are enjoying the podcast so far, and that you're learning a lot. So here's the part where you guys need to start writing things down, because it's definitely going to help you with your channels. All right, the first question I want to ask you, Scott, what would be the biggest advice you can give somebody that's either starting or they already started their YouTube channel, but something that you wish somebody would have told you?
Yeah, so definitely what I wish people had told me was being straight up and telling me that my content sucked and that I need to make it better. Because, okay, this is true honesty time. A big reason why starting channels don't do well is because, one, their content is too similar to someone else's, and 2, it's just not the quality that people want and people expect nowadays. Because now on YouTube, you're getting, it's not people sitting in their bedrooms recording with a 480p webcam. It's professional people doing videos who have been maybe even trained in this field, like in college or whatever the case may be. So if your videos aren't that quality, that doesn't mean give up or just stop. It means your goal should be to improve. And that's my philosophy, is every video should be better than the one before. And that's a big thing that...
So would you tell the viewers that it's very important that maybe even before they start their channels, that they should educate themselves
Yes.
on what to do, how to do things, on how to use the video editor?
I'm not saying by any means spend years of practice editing and recording and learning all this stuff. Just understand a somewhat basic level, maybe make a few practice videos beforehand, show a couple of your friends that you really trust, or some of your family members that you trust, ask them what they think, and tell them, be brutally honest, and they'll tell you what you can do to make it better. And then maybe spend a couple weeks practicing before you actually launch your channel. And that's something that I wish I had done. Is
so feedback you think is really important? Yeah,
get some honest, like brutally honest feedback, because my videos up until I'd say 6 months ago, maybe even closer to a year now, but yeah, before that, my videos sucked. I don't understand why anyone watched them. And it blows my mind. So I think it has to do with the saturation. And that's the other biggest advice I want to give, is be unique and do something that either not a lot of people are doing or that nobody is doing. Like when Ovi and I are probably the first channels other than Proto Mario to start doing Pokemon theories. And at the time, yeah, it was just Proto Mario, and he was monopolizing that field. And that's why he's still so big today, is that he was the pioneer for that. And then when we started doing that probably 2.5 years ago, we were the next up-and-comers, and people were starting to watch that because there was nobody else. And they were like, okay, maybe we want to see someone different from Proto Mario.
So you're saying you need to study the field that you want to get into, and
so
see.
If you're saying, hey, I want to do some Pokemon Let's Plays, you got to look and see. There are literally thousands of other channels doing that same thing. So instead of saying, hey, I'm just going to do Pokemon Let's Plays, try doing those. Like, you don't have to say, oh, I'm not going to do Let's Plays at all. Just make them different than other Let's Plays, and
So you need to stand out.
integrate some different stuff.
Well, that's great advice. I hope you guys are taking notes. But of course, we're gonna move on to the next question, Scott. I want to ask you, can you recall the moment when you wanted to give up, and if you do, what kept you going?
Yeah, there have been two instances that I want to talk about. The first one is, of course, when I was in high school and I got my first job. So this was back when I first started. I was doing Let's Plays, and I just wasn't getting the numbers, and that got me sad. And then I also got a job, and so my time was limited. So I thought, this just isn't worth it. And looking back, it was worth it, and I should have just kept going, because I did stop for a while. But eventually I came back, and when I did, it didn't go that well. Sure, I had maybe 20 or 30 subscribers built up from doing those Let's Plays, but they weren't around. They didn't really watch. So when I first started, I still wasn't getting those numbers. And after about a month, because I started doing Pokemon Insider in December 2013, by 2014, like January, I'm almost positive I was being targeted by a dislike bot, because as soon as I uploaded a video, I would get anywhere between 5 to 20 dislikes on my video within the first hour. And I was like, oh man, this means my videos are terrible. I should just quit. And that was my mindset for a little bit. And then I just, something clicked in me, and it was just turning on a light, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm going to show these people who are disliking my videos wrong, and I'm going to show them that my videos are worth a like and not a dislike.
Well, you definitely proved them wrong now.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like, I think that was the biggest moment in my YouTube, I guess, career, if you could call it that, is that moment when I realized, no, I'm not worth a dislike. I'm worth a like. And looking back, those videos were worth a dislike, but it was that determination for me to get better, and I'm still getting better, and it's 2.5 years later. So my thing is just, yeah, if you're feeling, okay, this isn't worth it, just find some sort of motivating factor. See, like, if you're not getting the views, if say you get like 2 views or 1 view on a video, just think to yourself, I'm going to prove the people who aren't watching my videos wrong and show them that I am worth a view. That would be my mindset. And that's why my philosophy of improving every video came into effect, is because that made me think, maybe I'm not worth that. What can I do to make myself worth it? And
just to put it into perspective, so that the people that think, they want to give up now because their channels are not going anywhere, and I think the people that are going to be successful are the ones that do not give up, just like Scott is saying. But Scott, could you let us know, how many subs did you end up with the first year that you did YouTube?
The first year? Well, that depends on what you mean. Like the first year that I decided to be Pokemon Insider, or from
first year Pokemon Insider.
Okay, because I did start with a few, but it was probably no more than 50. So from December 2013 to December 2014, I think I had about just over 1,000 by the end of the first year.
1,000 subscribers. So it took you 1 year to get 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, and I know that's something that a lot of people would be really jealous of, and I can only be thankful for that. And
then the second year
happened.
Your second year, you ended up, if I'm not mistaken, you ended up with 10,000 subscribers.
Right. By like I think I was just over 10,000. So it's gone 1,000, 10,000. I'm hoping for the end of this year to be 100,000,
So
but
we're
it's not
doing
looking like it's going to be there.
so we're doing tenfold. Pretty much in half a
Yeah.
year, you went from 10,000 to 30,000. This is, guys, this is something that a lot of people don't see. You know, your time will come if you just if you keep working on it, if you work hard and you keep improving. It's definitely going to come to you. Everybody has their moment to shine. Won't you agree, Scott?
Yeah, I think a really big example of that would be Mystic Umbreon. I know he's been going a little less than me on YouTube, but he definitely had his moment in January of this year when
Yeah, his channel blew up.
yeah, it just went blew up out of nowhere and well, seemingly out of nowhere. So the story behind that is his channel was just slowly going up and up, maybe even like stagnant for a while, and
Yeah, that's a
then
very
eventually-
interesting story that I'm going to be
Yeah,
covering
so-
when I bring him in, definitely.
Oh, do you want me to not cover this then?
Well, I want to save that for the subs because he has a very interesting story.
Okay, I'll let him talk about it for himself.
I want to
won't
bring
go
it.
any-
Yeah, I want to bring him in for that because
Okay.
he was one of the people that everybody has pretty much had lost faith in him that his channel was gonna go nowhere, and he's one of the persons that proved everybody wrong.
Yeah, and it's something I have so much respect for.
Definitely. All right, Scott, we're gonna move on to the next question. I want to ask you, what is the ultimate goal with your channel? Like, what do you want to see, you know, at the end when you know, you're sitting down and you said, wow, I made it, I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
What is that ultimate goal?
Well, initially the goal was share my information about Pokemon with other people and hope to meet other people, and I've already achieved that. So the next goal was just to keep doing that, and it took me about a year to realize, okay, there's actually some money involved with this, and I really enjoy doing this. Maybe I can make this a job. And that's still my ultimate goal now, is to make it full-time on YouTube, not have to worry about getting a job out of college, because yes, I'm in college. I got 2 years left. So my goal is to, by the end of college, be supporting myself off of YouTube.
Yeah, that's an amazing dream that I think we both share.
And I think everyone who's ever started YouTube will eventually have that
Yeah.
have that goal in mind. But for
Yep.
me, it really didn't become a major goal for me until earlier this year.
Awesome. Of course, we're going to move on to the last question for the day, and that's going to be, I know you talked about this before, and I want to talk about time management. And before I do, here's the biggest thing. A lot of people out there, I see them, they tell me, you know what, I want to start my channel, but I don't have the time. Or, you know, I have very limited amount of time. I got to do this, I got to do that, blah, 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 blah. But before you say, you know, your opinion of this, I just want to give my own here, and so that you can keep this in mind as well.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. I'm 20 years old. I get up every day at 4 a.m. in the morning so I can go to work. Work in the city. I don't get home until like 6:30. And what I do is I push one video a week. So I have to, you know, try to make the time just to get the channel going and do all this stuff at the same time. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, this is where people don't realize. You have 24 hours in a day. Do you think I have more than you?
Yeah, no.
We all have 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Everybody gets the same amount of time. There's not such thing as like, well, this person has more time, the other person has more time, or has less time. It's what you do with your time, really.
Right.
So what are your thoughts about this?
So my thing is, a lot of people will say they don't have the time to do something, and I do this myself, where I get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that I do, and unrightfully so, because during the college semesters, I go full-time college, and I have a part-time job, so I'm doing all that, and then also making videos, and sometimes I'll go to Smash tournaments as well. And that's because just any moment that I'm not at school or work or playing Smash, I'm working on a video, and you have to have that dedication to, instead of I'm just gonna lay around here for an hour, just work on something. And if you truly enjoy doing videos, then it's not gonna feel like you're doing any work. You're just gonna feel like, okay, hey, I'm doing this. And that's what it is for me, is when I have a full day off, which today was going to be one, but then I ended up deciding, no, I'm going to start working on a video, because if I don't do that, I'm going to be bored out of my mind. So for me, it's generally, I know a lot of people, their main thing is either work or school and work at the same time.
Right.
And as someone who deals with that, the latter, I can tell you that I definitely have the time. Sure, it means that I'm going to be staying up a little bit later, getting up a little bit earlier some days, so that I can work on videos or go to class or go to work. The ultimate goal is just making sure you have that time, and
would you say if you don't have the time, make the time, right?
Yeah, it's basically make the time, you have it. Just instead of taking that nap or instead of watching that movie, you've got to make a video.
Right.
So this
goes back to something.
Pleasure over pleasure.
Pleasure over
is what
pleasure.
I see it as. It's just one thing that you enjoy over another thing you enjoy.
Right. Definitely.
So,
all right, thank you, Scott, so much for being part of this interview. We have come to the end of our very first episode of Pokecast. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and of course, thank you so much to Scott for being the very first guest ever. You're gonna have that privilege here. People are gonna remember. People are gonna remember this. Is there anything else you want to say before we leave this episode?
I guess for any of you looking to start channels, I wish you the best of luck.
Right, that sounds awesome. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. And on the next episode, my goal is to bring in the one and only bird keeper Toby, so stay tuned for that. And if you're gonna have any personal questions that you want me to ask Toby, you can tweet at me. There is my @ObiCuriosities down here under my name, so you guys can see it. Make sure to subscribe to Pokemon Insider if you're in a mood for Pokemon theories and top 5s. Let's get this guy to 100K by the end of the year.
Yeah,
all right.
I don't think it's going to happen, but it very well could.
Yeah, look at that determination. All right, guys. I will see you hopefully next week with another episode of the Pokecast.